I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You hit the goal, the body, the job, the money, the person. You did what they said would work, and it did. But now you're here, and something's missing. This video is for the moment no one talks about. The after. The success with no satisfaction. The summit with no sense of self. You should feel full, but instead, you feel farther from yourself than ever. This transmission will help you name what's actually ending. Because this emptiness isn't failure. It's the start of something sacred. You're not confused. You're disoriented. Because the self that built the dream is starting to dissolve. The version of you that pushed, performed, and achieved. They were real, but they weren't whole. And now the striving has stopped. The silence is starting to speak. This isn't about losing momentum. It's about meeting the truth underneath all your effort. The truth that stillness exposes. You didn't fail. You arrived at a place your old identity can't survive. And that's the threshold we're standing at now. So don't rush to fill the silence. Don't grab for the next goal. What you're feeling isn't collapse. It's the disintegration of a self that was never allowed to rest. You're not broken. You're standing at the start of something irreversible. And what's coming next has already begun inside you. Coming up next, we'll name what's unraveling, the identity that chased worth through winning, and why it has to fall before anything real can rise. The part of you that chased this goal was never just chasing success. It was chasing safety. It was chasing love. It was chasing a feeling of being enough, finally. And now that the outer reward is here, you're starting to feel the absence underneath. This is the unraveling, not of your ambition, but of the self who believed achievement could heal the ache. The self who thought validation would settle the question, am I good enough now? You weren't wrong for chasing it. You were surviving. You were doing what the world taught you, that success earns belonging, that image earns love, that perfection is safer than presence. But that performance is falling apart now. You look at the life you built and feel a strange distance, like you're watching someone else live it, because you are. It wasn't a lie, but it wasn't your whole truth either. And the longer you try to keep it all together, the more numb, tired, or invisible you feel. This unraveling isn't failure, it's sacred. It's the part where the mask melts off. Not because you were faking, but because you've outgrown the self who needed to prove so much. And now, as this outer structure dissolves, you begin to sense the thing it was hiding. The deeper self. The unmet voice. The untouched longing. You can't rebuild yet, because the one who would rebuild no longer exists. But what rises next? That's the part you're about to meet. And what it reveals might undo everything you thought you were working for. Keep watching. In the next section, we meet what's surfacing now that the striving has stopped. And it's not what you expect. Now that the striving has gone quiet, something else is starting to speak. It doesn't yell. It doesn't beg. It just waits, watching from the place that never needed applause. This is the moment you meet the part of you that was buried beneath the performance. It's not the inner critic, not the perfectionist, not the achiever. It's older than all of that. Quieter, more honest. It's the part of you that remembers what you wanted before you were taught what to want, before you learned how to perform your value, before you built a self around being impressive instead of being whole. And now, it's looking at everything you built and asking the question you've been afraid to hear. Who is this really for? Because if you were chasing love, but never felt loved, chasing freedom, but feel trapped, chasing power, but feel like a ghost in your own life, then maybe it's not your capacity that's in question, it's your compass. This presence that's surfacing now doesn't want more from you. It wants less. Less proving, less striving, less polishing the mask. It doesn't care how much you've done. It wants to know if you remember who you are when there's nothing left to earn. And that question will strip you bare, but it will also make you real. This presence isn't here to soothe you. It's here to remind you what happens when the lie ends and the soul begins. What comes next is not a rebuild, it's a re-entry, and the turning begins in silence. That's where we go next. This is the part where nothing happens, not yet. There is no new dream to chase, no breakthrough to post, no next chapter ready to begin. Just breathe. Just the strange stillness after the scaffolding falls. And in that stillness, you start to feel yourself again. Not the version of you that had the plan, the one who's here without needing to perform. This is the turning. Not a fix, not a comeback, but the slow, quiet moment where truth begins to replace momentum. You start to notice what doesn't feel like a mask. The way your body softens when you stop pretending to be fulfilled. The way your voice sounds when it isn't trying to impress. The way your time feels when it belongs only to you. You begin to ask different questions. Not what's next, but what's true. Not how do I win again, but what do I want when no one's watching? This is not clarity in the way you've known it. Linear, strategic, focused. It's a deeper clarity. The kind that doesn't rush to be known. The kind that arrives like breath returning to a body that forgot how to rest. And that's what you're doing now. Resting in your own being. Letting the old performance fall without reaching to replace it. You don't need to explain who you're becoming. You just need to stay with what's finally real. Coming up next, the return. Not to your old life, but to the version of you that never needed to be earned. You thought the journey was to the goal, but the real journey began the moment you arrived and found nothing there. That silence, that ache behind the achievement, it wasn't failure, it was truth. Finally loud enough to hear. You're not the one who chased it all. You're the one who watched, who stayed quiet while this striving consumed everything, who waited patiently for the mask to fall. And now it has. You're not here to start over. You're here to return, to the one who doesn't need to prove, to polish, to earn the right to rest. Because now you know, the goal never held you, the image never fed you, and the applause never knew your name. But you do. You remember now what it feels like to move without proving, to breathe without pretending, to speak without shrinking. You don't rise because you hit the goal. You rise because the mask no longer fits. And what returns is real. Let that be enough. Let that be the beginning. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.